Your trade is up $300. Your target is $500. Your hand moves toward the close button. You tell yourself you're being smart, locking in gains, protecting profits. You click. The trade closes. 20 minutes later, you watch the price hit your original target. Then it keeps climbing. It would have been an $800 winner. You made $300. You've left $500 on the table, and this isn't the first time. It's the 15th time this month. Something inside you is sabotaging your best trades. It's not fear. It's not greed. It's something more insidious, something that disguises itself as wisdom while quietly destroying your trading edge one premature exit at a time. The hidden emotion hijacking your trading psychology. Here's what nobody tells you about trading psychology. The hardest part of trading isn't finding good setups or managing risk. The hardest part is holding winning trades long enough for your edge to actually work. Most traders think the emotion that makes them exit early is fear of losing the profit. But that's only half the picture. The real culprit is something psychologists call loss aversion, anxiety specifically triggered by unrealized gains. This emotion is so subtle, so sophisticated, that it feels like rational thinking when it's actually emotional sabotage. Here's what happens in your brain during a winning trade. The moment your position moves into profit, your brain categorizes that unrealized gain as something you now own. That $300 profit isn't potential anymore in your mind. It's yours. And the instant your brain labels something as yours, loss aversion kicks in with devastating force. Loss aversion is the psychological principle showing that humans experience the pain of losing something roughly 2.5 times more intensely than the pleasure of gaining that same thing. When you're sitting on a $300 unrealized profit, your brain isn't thinking, I'm up $300. Your brain is screaming, I have $300 that I could lose. Every uptick, your trade is up $300. Your target is $500. Your hand moves toward the close button. You tell yourself you're being smart, locking in gains, protecting profits. You click. The trade closes. 20 minutes later, you watch the price hit your original target. Then, it keeps climbing. It would have been an $800 winner. You made $300. You've left $500 on the table, and this isn't the first time. It's the 15th time this month. Something inside you is sabotaging your best trades. It's not fear. It's not greed. It's something more insidious, something that disguises itself as wisdom while quietly destroying your trading edge one premature exit at a time. The hidden emotion hijacking your trading psychology. Here's what nobody tells you about trading psychology. The hardest part of trading isn't finding good setups or managing risk. The hardest part is holding winning trades long enough for your edge to actually work. Most traders think the emotion that makes them exit early is fear of losing the profit. But that's only half the picture. The real culprit is something psychologists call loss aversion anxiety, specifically triggered by unrealized gains. This emotion is so subtle, so sophisticated, that it feels like rational thinking when it's actually emotional sabotage. Here's what happens in your brain during a winning trade. The moment your position moves into profit, your brain categorizes that unrealized gain as something you now own. That $300 profit isn't potential anymore in your mind, it's yours. And the instant your brain labels something as yours, loss aversion kicks in with devastating force. Loss aversion is the psychological principle showing that humans experience the pain of losing something roughly 2.5 times more intensely than the pleasure of gaining that same thing. When you're sitting on a $300 unrealized profit, your brain isn't thinking, I'm up $300. Your brain is screaming, I have $300 that I could lose. Every uptick in your favor makes the potential loss bigger. Every tiny retracement feels like you're actively losing your money. The anxiety builds and builds until it becomes unbearable. And there's only one way to make this uncomfortable emotion stop. Close the trade. Convert that unrealized vulnerable profit into a realized safe one. You think you're taking profits wisely. Actually, you're choosing emotional relief over trading success. You're prioritizing feeling better right now over performing better long term. This is why traders can do everything else correctly and still fail. You can have perfect entries, flawless risk management, incredible setup identification, and still end up break-even or losing because you can't hold winners long enough. If you systematically cut your winners short, you destroy your risk-reward ratio. A trading strategy designed to make you money becomes a strategy that barely keeps you afloat, simply because you're amputating the reward side of every trade. And here's the cruel irony. The better the trade, the stronger this emotion becomes in your trading psychology. Your best setups, moving most powerfully in your favor, create the most anxiety because there's more unrealized profit to protect. So you exit your best trades earliest, hold your mediocre trades longest, and completely invert what successful trading requires. Meet Yale, the trader haunted by profits left behind. Yale had been trading for 3.5 years when he finally confronted the math that was haunting him. He wasn't a novice. He understood technical analysis, had developed a solid trading strategy, practiced disciplined risk management, and kept meticulous trading journals. On the surface, Yale was doing everything the trading psychology books told him to do. But his trading account told a different story. Yale's win rate was 57%, which was respectable. His risk management was precise, losing exactly 1 times his risk on losing trades. But his average winner was only 1.3 times his risk. When he calculated his expectancy, Yale realized he was making barely 3% annually after commissions. He was working full days analyzing markets, executing trades, managing positions, and making less than a savings account would pay him. Then Yale did something that changed everything. He backtested his exact trading strategy using his same setups, same entry criteria, same risk parameters. In the backtest, he held every trade to its predetermined target or stop. No emotional exits, no profit protection, just the plan, executed mechanically. The backtest showed 34% annual returns. Yale sat staring at his screen, the realization crushing him. The difference between 3% and 34% wasn't his strategy. It wasn't the market. It wasn't bad luck. It was entirely him. It was his inability to hold winning trades to their logical conclusion. His trading psychology was costing him 31 percentage points of annual returns. Inside Yale's mind, the moment-by-moment battle. Yale decided to document exactly what was happening inside his head during winning trades. He started recording his internal dialogue in real time, speaking his thoughts into voice memos while trades were active. What he discovered was a full-scale war in his trading psychology happening during every winning position. One Thursday morning, Yale entered a momentum trade on a clean breakout. His risk was $120. His target was $360, a 3-to-1 risk-reward. The setup was textbook perfect. Here's what happened inside Yale's mind. 10 minutes in, up $75. Good entry. Price action confirming. Let it develop. Your trading plan is clear. Hold for target or stop. $75 already. That's more than half your risk covered. If you exit now, you guarantee a win. If you hold, you could lose it. $75 is nowhere near the 360 target. The strategy requires holding. This is exactly why you planned 3-to-1. Plans are theoretical. This $75 is real money. Money you can bank right now. Why risk it? 25 minutes in, up $190. Perfect. Moving exactly as expected. Strong volume, momentum building, stay in the trade. $190. That's already a better than average winner for you. That's 1.6 to 1. Take it. Lock it in. Don't be greedy. This isn't greed. This is following the trading strategy.
The edge requires letting winners run. You remember last week, right? That trade you held that was up 180 and then reversed? You ended up losing $90. Don't make that mistake again. Take this profit now. 40 minutes in, up $280. Almost there. Just need $80 more to hit target. The setup is still valid. Price structure intact. Hold. $280. Do you understand how much money that is? That's real money. Every second you hold this, you're risking it. What if news breaks? What if the market suddenly reverses? You've seen it happen. This profit could evaporate in seconds. Take it! The strategy accounts for this possibility. That's why we have stops. The risk is managed. Hold for target. Look, it's pulling back slightly, see? That's the beginning of a reversal. Exit now before you lose it all. This is your last chance to protect this profit. Yale's hand moved to the mouse. His finger clicked. The trade closed at $280. 90 minutes later, Yale watched the price hit his original $360 target, then continue upward. It would have been a $520 winner. Yale made $280. He left $240 on the table. Again. That night, reviewing the voice memo, Yale felt sick. Not because he lost money. He'd made almost 2.3 to 1. He felt sick because he could hear himself. He could hear the emotional voice using fear, using selective memory, using false urgency to pressure him into abandoning his trading plan, and he'd surrendered to it, like he did on most of his winning trades.
The three faces of early exit emotion. Yale spent weeks analyzing his trading journal, categorizing every early exit, studying the patterns in his trading psychology. He identified three distinct forms this emotion took. Phase 1, profit preservation panic. This is the most obvious form. It's the acute anxiety that unrealized profit is in danger. Yale noticed this emotion scaled with profit size. A $50 profit created mild unease. A $300 profit created intense, almost unbearable anxiety. The internal voice of profit preservation panic sounds reasonable. Better to lock in a good gain than risk losing it. A bird in hand is worth two in the bush. Don't let greed destroy a winning trade. But this reasonableness ignores trading mathematics. Yale's strategy required 3-to-1 winners to overcome 1-to-1 losers with his win rate. By consistently settling for 1.5-to-1 or 2-to-1, he was systematically destroying his edge. What felt like prudent profit-taking in his trading psychology was actually strategic suicide disguised as wisdom. Phase 2, selective memory terrorism. Yale discovered his brain was weaponizing his past against him. Every time he sat in a winning position, his emotional mind would retrieve specific memories. That trade that reversed, that profit that evaporated, that opportunity he held too long. His brain never showed him memories of successful holds. It never replayed the trades where patience paid off perfectly. It exclusively presented painful memories of holds that didn't work, creating a false narrative that holding winners was dangerous. This selective memory in trading psychology was insidious because it felt like learning from experience. Yale thought he was being wise, incorporating lessons from past trades. He didn't realize his brain was cherry-picking data to justify emotional decisions. Out of his last 100 trades, only 9 had reversed significantly after showing profit. 51 would have benefited from holding to target. But those 9 painful memories dominated his psychology, drowning out the 51 successful patterns. Phase 3, identity ceiling. The deepest layer Yale discovered was the hardest to see. Somewhere in his self-concept, Yale didn't truly believe he was the type of trader who made large, consistent profits. Making $100 felt normal to his identity. Making $280 felt acceptable.
But making 360, 520, that felt wrong somehow, like he was getting away with something he shouldn't. This identity ceiling in trading psychology manifested as a subtle voice. This is too much profit. This isn't realistic. People like you don't make this kind of money. Better quit while you're ahead. Yale had never consciously thought these things, but when he sat with the feeling during winning trades, this was the subtext underneath the anxiety. His identity had a profit ceiling, and every time a trade approached that ceiling, his psychology found reasons to exit. He was unconsciously keeping himself inside his identity's comfort zone, even though that comfort zone was costing him 31% annual returns.
Yale's transformation, learning to hold. The breakthrough came when Yale stopped trying to eliminate the early exit emotion and started learning to coexist with it while executing his trading plan anyway. He realized something crucial. Every successful trader feels this discomfort while holding winners. The difference isn't that profitable traders don't experience the emotion. The difference is they've learned to act according to their trading strategy despite the emotion. They've trained themselves to separate feeling from action in their trading psychology. Yale implemented 4 core changes. Change 1. Reframing unrealized profit. Yale changed his mental model of profits while in trades. Instead of seeing unrealized gains as his money that could be lost, he started conceptualizing it as the market's movement that he was attempting to capture according to his strategy. His new internal dialogue, "This 280 isn't my money yet. This is the market moving. My job isn't to protect 280. My job is to execute my plan, which means holding for 360 or getting stopped out. Until one of those things happens, this profit isn't mine to protect or lose. It's just price action I'm participating in." This subtle reframe dramatically reduced his profit preservation panic. He stopped feeling like he was risking his money by holding. He was simply executing a predetermined plan. Change 2. Pre-trade emotional contracting. Before entering any trade, Yale now writes this commitment: "I will experience anxiety while holding this winner. That is normal and expected. The anxiety doesn't mean I should exit. It means I'm doing something difficult and valuable. I will exit only when my target is hit or my stop is hit, period." This pre-trade contract prepared him psychologically. When the anxiety appeared, instead of being surprised or overwhelmed, Yale would think, "There's the feeling I knew would come. This is expected. This doesn't mean danger. This means I'm holding like I committed to." Change 3. Physical separation. Yale implemented a mandatory rule that after setting a trade with his target and stop, he must leave his computer for at least 30 minutes. He couldn't watch it develop tick by tick. This forced separation eliminated the micromanagement cycle that built anxiety in his trading psychology. He couldn't obsessively watch small retracements. He couldn't talk himself into premature exits. The trade would either hit his target or his stop, and he'd learn the result later. The first dozen times Yale did this, the anxiety was almost unbearable. He'd walk around his apartment, fighting the urge to check his platform. But he discovered something powerful. Trades worked out just fine, often better, without his emotional interference. Change 4. Evidence accumulation. Yale created a specific section in his trading journal comparing 2 columns, trades where he exited early versus what would have happened if he'd held to target. The data was undeniable. Holding to target or stop, even when uncomfortable, produced dramatically superior results 78% of the time. He reviewed this evidence before every trading session, reinforcing rational truth against emotional impulse. His new internal dialogue during anxiety: "I want to exit. The data shows holding produces better results. Feeling doesn't override evidence. Holding."
The breakthrough insight. 6 months into his transformation, Yale was holding a trade up $390, approaching his $450 target. The anxiety was crushing. His emotional brain was screaming at him to exit and secure the profit. Then, Yale had a profound realization. This discomfort I'm feeling right now, this is my trading edge. My competitors, the average traders, they're exiting right now to escape this exact feeling. By holding through this anxiety, I'm literally capturing the profit they're abandoning. My ability to tolerate this emotion is what separates 3% returns from 34% returns. The discomfort wasn't a warning signal in his trading psychology. It was the price of admission for exceptional performance. Every successful trader Yale studied had learned to function effectively while uncomfortable. They didn't eliminate the early exit emotion. They executed their plans despite it. Yale started viewing the anxiety as confirmation he was doing something valuable. When it appeared, instead of thinking, I need to exit to feel better, he started thinking, good, this is where average traders quit. This is my opportunity to separate myself from them. Yale's results. 14 months after Yale began systematically addressing his early exit problem, his trading results transformed completely. His average winner went from 1.3 times his risk to 2.8 times his risk. His win rate remained at 56%, but his annual returns went from 3% to 29%. Same trading strategy, same market conditions, same setup identification. The only variable that changed was Yale's ability to hold winning trades to their planned targets, which meant tolerating the discomfort of unrealized profits. Yale still feels the early exit emotion. Every winning trade still generates anxiety. But now that anxiety is information, not instruction. He feels it, acknowledges it, and executes his trading plan regardless.
How to fix your early exit problem. If you see yourself in Yale's story, if you know you're cutting winners short and sabotaging your trading edge, here's your implementation plan. Step 1. Quantify the damage. Review your last 50 trades. Calculate what your results would have been if you'd held every winner to your original target. Compare that to your actual results. Make the cost of early exits concrete and visible in your trading journal. Step 2. Identify your trigger point. At what profit level do you typically feel the overwhelming urge to exit early? Document the exact point where the early exit emotion becomes unbearable in your trading psychology. This is where you need to intervene. Step 3. Create your pre-trade commitment. Before entering trades, write, I will feel discomfort while holding this winner. That is normal. I will not exit to relieve discomfort. I will exit only when my target is hit or my stop is hit. I commit to tolerating the discomfort. Read this aloud before every entry. Step 4. Implement forced separation. After setting your trade with target and stop, leave your platform for minimum 30 minutes. Create physical distance from the ability to prematurely exit. If you must monitor markets, watch different instruments, not your active positions. Step 5. Build capacity through small size. If your current position sizes generate too much anxiety to hold, reduce size by 50%. Take 10 consecutive trades at this smaller size. Hold every single one to target or stop with 0 early exits. When you've proven you can do this, increase size by 25%. Gradually rebuild as your psychological capacity grows. Step 6. Reframe the discomfort. When you feel anxiety while holding a winner, practice this thought. This discomfort is my edge. This is where other traders exit. By holding through this feeling, I'm capturing profit they're leaving.
This feeling means I'm doing something difficult and valuable. Step 7. Let evidence override emotion. Weekly, review the concrete data of what happens when you hold versus when you exit early. Let results override feelings. Your trading psychology will gradually learn that holding, despite discomfort, produces superior outcomes.
The final truth. Trading isn't difficult because markets are complex. Markets follow patterns. Strategies can be tested. Risk can be managed. Trading is difficult because it requires consistently acting against your emotional impulses for long-term gain. The early exit emotion exists in every trader. It's not a flaw or weakness. It's a natural protective mechanism that served humans well for millennia. Securing a sure thing rather than risking it for something better was usually the right survival strategy. But in trading, this instinct is misapplied. Your edge requires letting profits run. Your trading strategy needs full risk-reward ratios to function. Your success depends on your ability to tolerate the discomfort of unrealized gains long enough for your targets to be reached. Successful traders aren't the ones who don't feel the early exit emotion. They're the ones who feel it and trade their plan anyway. They've built the psychological capacity to function while anxious. They've separated emotion from execution in their trading psychology. You can do this. Your early exit problem isn't permanent. It's a pattern, and patterns can be changed. Start with one trade. Commit to holding that one trade to target or stop, regardless of how uncomfortable you feel. Then, do it again. Each time you hold through the discomfort, you're rewiring your brain. You're building evidence that you can execute your plan. You're becoming the trader who captures full profits rather than settling for partial ones. Your trading strategy already works. Your edge already exists. The only barrier between your current results and your potential is your willingness to be uncomfortable while winning. Stop exiting early. Start holding your winners. Let your edge express itself fully. The emotion will be there, but it doesn't have to control you anymore.